Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for clicking. It means a lot. You guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And in today's video, I want to talk about this new era as a whole, specifically this new season, because no one's been more critical of this new era, this 26-day hyper political era than me. And yet I find myself enjoying the current season up until this point. That being 4 episodes in, I get it. It's not a lot of screen time to tell if the season will end up being good. But so far, to me, this season has set itself apart from the past 2 seasons. And in this video, I want to explain why. I feel like it's important to decipher what is bad about this new era and why this season has overcome the era that it's been put in. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff because it's free, it's easy, and it really helps channel out. The first thing to me that pops in my mind is the lack of focus on advantages. Yes, they've gone to the Shipwhale Island and done the kind of risk your vote or don't risk your vote twist, which is kind of played out to me, and I'll talk about that later. But I think for me, the main difference is, aside from that and aside from these little bead idols, we've got nothing as far as advantages go, other than, I believe, Gabler's like idol that expires after 2 tribals. That's the only talk of it that we've gotten, and it's been fun because it's been based around the players. That's created character moments, not necessarily just game body, number game stuff. And to me, that's what you want advantages to do. Just make the players' personalities come out, because the whole point is that if you cast a good cast, you just need to make sure that their personalities are shown on screen. Well, a really good cast will do that on their own, but some casts need a little bit of a nudge, and this cast has gotten that nudge and more, and I don't even really think it needed that nudge. On top of that, I think that the focus that we've seen on each tribe's bead idol has been really, really fun. Again, the yellow tribe hasn't found theirs, but the red tribe's bead idol was fun to watch, and so was the Coco one. Obviously, I'm not a big Carla fan, but I did like how they showed it, where she has to go to people, and then she hesitates and then goes and finds it. And I like the way that advantage is built, because it forces players to use their allies to their advantage. Again, an advantage is supposed to kind of counteract the social game, by letting you kind of bend bomb your way, at least through a few rounds, and avoid having allies, having a social game. But I kind of like how this one plays in to the social game, where it's a lot hard to do alone. We saw Carla do it, but that's because her tribe is just kind of stupid. Cody is a much better example, where he needed 2 allies, and even then he almost didn't get it. It's very impressive, how much work it takes to get this advantage, yet it takes only 5 minutes of screen time for the whole sequence to play out, from finding it to getting all of the beads. And so to me, the advantage works perfectly as far as its format. Another improvement that I've seen is an increase in conflict, which I think this is kind of 2 points. The first point being that they've casted people that are much more different. People like Cody and Carla are complete opposites, almost. I mean, obviously they have some similarities, but for the most part, they live their lives very differently. Carla is definitely not an Livin type of person, and Cody definitely is. On top of that, you see people who would seem like they're different, like, for example, Cody and Aneka, the first being a guy from Hawaii and the second one being from Nigeria, and yet they're very similar as far as their values, and that's why they aligned. That's good on a cast, because it can form those bonds like Rudy and Rich, the unlikely duo, as well as create conflict, which is the most important thing. And that's really the second thing here, is the conflict this season has been top tier. A big critique of this new era that I've had is that it's felt more kumbaya. Obviously it's super game body, right? Like blindsides galore. Yeah, for sure. But it still felt like, okay, guys, like, thanks for blindsiding me. Okay, goodbye. Like it's never been like salty. Like, no one's salty as much as they are on this season. No one's angry at each other as much as they are on this season. Too much conflict is bad. Think like Thailand or All Stars post-merge, kind of. But to me, or also like Pacific post merge. But again, I feel like too much conflict is bad. Think like Pacific post merge, where it just gets ugly. It's still really really fun to watch, but it can get too much. But I'd rather that than no conflict, which in 41 and 42, that's exactly what we saw. And with this season, we get Cassidy versus Geo. We get the Red Tribe helping that Yellow Tribe in the challenge, and then the blue Tribe getting mad. We get Carla hating Cody. On top of that, we also get this Gabler versus Ellie dynamic, where Ellie's kind of underestimating Gabler's intelligence, and then he's fighting back. We also got the brutal blindside of Lindsay in the last tribal. On top of that, we get more conflict over on the Yellow Tribe, with Owen kind of wanting to flip but also not wanting to flip, and he's in the middle. It's very iffy to me, and I love that. Like, this season has people who don't like each other. That's what a reality TV show is supposed to have. And the fact that I'm impressed by this is kind of sad that we've lost this in the past 2 seasons. Also, I think that although the sob stories were pretty annoying on this season, as they always are, they weren't nearly as bad as the past 2 seasons. They kind of went away after the first episode. We get one every once in a while, but we've kind of built up on about 4 or 5 of them, and the rest of them have kind of fleeted away. I think those 4 or 5 people are probably making it far, or at least to the merge, which makes sense. But the people who don't really matter aren't getting sob stories, versus in 41 and 42, where every single person got a sob story, no matter how big or small their edit was, which is really, really annoying. I think that the sob stories are bad on their own, but I think the fact that most people aren't getting one on this season is a good thing. And honestly, I think for me, one of the bigger things is just Cody himself. Cody is fantastic casting, along with Sammy. I think Cody and Sammy are kind of in their own categories, where they're both outspoken people. They have villainous aspects to them. They can have a villainous side, but for the most part, they are heroes. They're meant to be heroes, and they're being edited as such. We've kind of lost that. They've tried to really delve into these multi-layered characters, which is a good thing, right? People shouldn't just be heroes all the time and be absolutely perfect, but to try and complicate it and say, well, Shan is actually kind of a hero and actually kind of a villain. No, Shan is a villain. Edit her as a villain. She can have some heroic things about her, but it can't be half hero, half villain. That to me only works with a person like, for example, Alex, and that's because he gets to final 3. I feel like if someone's getting booted out, or around this early merge time, they need to be a hero or a villain. And I think with 43, we've seen clear heroes, which is pretty rare considering that from most of this new era, we just didn't see that. But what do you think? Do you disagree? Do you feel like that this season is worse than the past 2 seasons? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, none of this happens without you guys. Without you guys, I'm sure we're guys speaking word your microphone. So that's what I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.